The Baseball Together Network presents the Seattle Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Jewell Young. And now, Seattle Baseball Together.
Welcome, baseball family, to this month's episode of the Seattle Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brad, and I still have no voice from Ichiro Weekend. Our guy Jewell is here with us. He's going to carry us today. Jewell, how are you today?
I have a voice. I'm allergy-free, and I'm feeling really good coming into today's podcast. So I'm excited to be here.
I'm feeling really good. I sound a whole lot worse than I am because this is the thing is I am wildly irresponsible anytime I go to baseball games. My voice is gone by like second, third inning tops. It takes nothing for my voice to go away, but it takes a long time for it to come back. I might not have it back by the time I go live Thursday night for the big show.
Yeah, probably
we'll
not.
See though. There's a good chance because so for those of you who don't know, this is Monday night. I went to the game Saturday and still sound like this.
It's been a few days and you're still sounding a little rough over there. But
some time to recover.
Brad, you went to a Mariners game over the weekend, and it was a very special weekend. Tell us about this weekend.
Okay, first off, so those of you watching on YouTube, you see that I don't have my normal backdrop. I am actually in the backyard of my dad's house. He has this beautiful back deck, and I'm sitting out here. It's fantastic. It's
incredible looking.
I've got like cantina lights. I feel like I'm at Edgar's Cantina. I love this so much, so I had to do it outside.
It's absolutely beautiful. You sent me a picture earlier.
It's amazing. I almost wish we'd done it during the day so you could see the trees. But anyway, so I was in Seattle this weekend. I was here for Ichiro Weekend. I was there. I was there when they inducted Ichiro into the Seattle Mariners Hall of Fame.
Did you cry?
It was a little dusty. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was a little dusty in the stadium.
Yeah.
Somebody let the allergies out early. So.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What a speech. Yeah. What a freaking speech, dude.
It's amazing.
A 16-minute speech all in English after coming to America in 2001, not knowing any English whatsoever, speaking through a translator for most of his
translator
career.
Was there too.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Well, so it was cool because, he got up there. For those of you who watched the game, you know what I'm talking about. He got up there. First thing he says was, "What's up, Seattle?" And I'm curious. I looked at my dad. I'm curious how many times he practiced that because I didn't hear any accent at all in it.
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
None.
It was really good.
I think it caught everyone off guard, too. Like, everyone didn't know whether to laugh or to, like,
everybody I was sitting around. Everybody kind of looked around like, yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. But the speech was outstanding. It was really, really emotional. He acknowledged everybody. It was great.
Everybody. He hit coaches. He hit teammates, the fans, his interpreter. I was watching it while I was at that stadium in my backdrop. If you're looking on the YouTube, I was sitting in my seat. I was watching it during pregame of the Dust Devils.
Yeah.
And I was welling up. I was like, man, it's dusty here. Good thing I'm at the Dust Devils game. We have a legit reason, but no, it was absolutely beautiful, start to finish.
It was amazing. And then I was telling my dad too. After the speech and everything, because the Guardians went out and they did their warm-ups during the speech. They got warmed up during the speech, and the Mariners were they're all on the top step of the dugout watching. And then I was like, I'm a little worried that they're going to come out flat. They didn't. The Mariners didn't come out flat. Castillo absolutely pounded the zone. He was putting on a pitching clinic. It was amazing.
He actually made the Guardians swing and miss the most they have all season. Yep, 22 times.
Which is amazing because I felt like there were souvenirs left and right. Like Kwan's first at bat of the game, I couldn't believe how many balls he fouled off.
That dude is legit. I think he loved being back in the area too, since he started Oregon State. So
that's right. Yeah,
he was happy to be. I think he knows the area, he knows the weather, he knows how to play.
He knows what to expect around here for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, the only mistake Castillo made, and I don't even know if it was a mistake because it was to Jose Ramirez. Ramirez sent a laser beam into the right field seats, and we were just like, oh man, just like that.
That's just J-Rom.
But But Gino Suarez hit a home run that like I have not seen in a very long time hit at that ballpark. That was a shot right off the Edgar's Cantina sign.
He crushed that ball.
And then Julio Rodriguez hit a home run that snuck right over the wall. I was yelling. I was like, get back, get back, get back. And it just snuck right over the wall.
Yeah. and no one better to homer this weekend than Julio.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing is I was like, he has to homer tonight. Has to. And
yeah,
I felt it coming. It was awesome. It was too great, but it was just too bad they ended up losing that game. We got to see the Los Bomberos intro for Munoz.
Was it lit?
It was absolutely lit. It was a lot of fun. I was
and then worried. He came out flat.
He did. Yeah, it was funny because I told my dad about the whole thing that they're doing. He's like, with our luck, the starter is going to go the distance. I was like, yeah, he probably will. But no, after that first inning with Castillo, though, I looked at him. I was like, we're going to get to see the pen today. And, man, that has to have been Munoz's worst performance all season.
It was. It was his worst performance, I think, since I looked it up. I think it was his worst since May. And the first time he's given up more than a run, I want to say since Memorial Day.
That makes sense. I believe it.
It was 40 plus appearances since he's done anything like that.
Did I tell you that? I think I texted you during the game. I said I blamed Rick Riz for that one.
Yes, you did. You were going to explain that.
Yeah. So I was in the bathroom, and so I got up and I watched the intro and everything. And while he's finishing warm up, I went to my bathroom break, and they had the radio broadcast going, and Riz specifically said that. He said, who better to come in to protect a 3-1 lead than Andres Munoz? Man. I was like, no, don't do that to him.
I mean, really, there is no one better except for Edwin Diaz, but honestly, that's a big jinx right there. And
who better? I feel like Penn Murphy is an excellent candidate. Lately, not so much Sewald, but there are times where Sewald
definitely bounced back on Sunday.
He did. So this is one thing that I love about Sewald is that when he has a couple of rough outings like that, he should be good for a good portion of the rest of the season.
Yeah,
he's not going to have more of those because he'll have him like back to back, and he's solid, so he'll be good.
Yeah,
but no, it was really
very
cool.
Consistent that way.
It was an amazing atmosphere. I got my Julio Rodriguez jersey. I'm wearing it for those of you on the YouTubes. You can see.
Love
I'm not gonna spin around just because it's not really easy around here. But anyway, so I got my Julio Rodriguez jersey on. I got it from the team store. It's very exciting, very fun. It was an awesome weekend. It was really cool. The energy around the whole Ichiro thing was outstanding. I'm honestly not surprised the Mariners dropped one of the games this weekend. I was hoping it was going to be Sunday. But I can handle going into a game where the Mariners lose if they win the rest of them during that series, if they win the series. So
exactly.
You take them as you get them. I am officially 0-5 at T-Mobile/Safeco over the last decade. So you will not see me at a playoff game. I will not be making the trip for a playoff game.
That's weird. I think since my daughter was born, we've gone to 2, 4, 6, 7, and I think we're 5-2.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, so I won't be going to Seattle for any playoff games. If I'm going to go to playoff games, they've got to be they got to be somewhere else because I'm 2-0 at Chase Field and I'm 1-0 lifetime at Angel Stadium.
So that's a good thing for the World Baseball Classic then, if Team USA is playing and you go to a Team USA game.
Yeah, which I will be. I will definitely be going.
I will also be doing everything I can to be there as well.
We'll just have a big party. My dad's coming down. Brick's coming out from South Carolina. We'll just have a big party. We'll all go together. It'll be a good time.
Sounds like let's book it. Anyways, moving so we don't get lost into the World Baseball Classic,
let's
which
talk
we
about
easily can.
We could. We'll get there. Let's talk about August.
Or before we jump into that,
you're right.
Brad, tell me, it was Ichiro Weekend. Another monumental thing happened, which we'll get into here shortly. Your top Ichiro moment of your lifetime.
So I'm going to give you two real quick. First off, my dad took this picture that I'm going to put up here. For those of you watching on YouTube, this is an outstanding picture. He is an amazing photographer. And I actually have a print of this that I had hanging up in my office before we moved away from the house we were living in. So I love this picture so much. It is awesome. That's actually against Cleveland. This was several years ago when they were still the Indians. But no, I love this picture so much. It just encapsulates Ichiro perfectly, I think, just hustling out and getting 100%. A double. But my other favorite Ichiro moment, and I think the reason it's my absolute favorite moment is because I watched it live, was that absolute dart that he threw from right field. Got a bug on my computer. Hold on.
Which one?
It's like a Katie did. First it landed on my beard, and then it landed on my monitor.
It just really likes you.
I guess. So I have my drink covered. But anyways, no, it was like 15 days into his rookie season when he threw that dart from right field in Oakland.
Yes.
To David Bell. I will never forget watching that and being like, who the heck is this guy?
Right.
You know, like that was his entire rookie season, was like, you see him beat out a routine ground ball on opening day. You're like, okay, all right, who's this guy? And then that happens. You're like, who the heck is this guy? Like, what is he doing? And I feel like, and it was just, like I said, his entire rookie season was just a collection of those, and it was amazing. I haven't seen anybody like that since then. And I mean, Julio's getting there.
He'll be there. Yeah.
And I think the reason I'm not saying who the heck is this guy is because I've been watching him for 4 years already.
Right. Yeah. And so Brad, for the listeners that might not know, I'm a little bit younger than you. When Ichiro came on into the MLB, I was 6.
Oh, jeez.
And so as a kid living in Seattle, I grew up in South Seattle. And so for me and my friends growing up playing Little League, it was all Ichiro. Everyone, every practice, we're all going the old, over the shoulder, tug at the jersey sleeve. We're all doing it. We're all having fun. And I think that would have to be what Ichiro meant to me during his career. Plenty of great moments on the field, plenty of great moments at Safeco Field, most of which I'm honestly I was too young to really remember now. But just what he meant for baseball for like so many of us kids, like growing up in the area, just getting to watch that on a daily basis as kids was just incredible. And that's something that I'll always remember Ichiro for, is just being different, and that it's okay to be different as a baseball player. You don't have to be the cookie cutter kind of thing. And that's one big thing that I would take away from Ichiro. So
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I remember because I was 15 when Ichiro came in, and I remember us, like, we would talk about Ichiro at practice and like during games.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were just like, we can't do any of that,
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's
like, I remember my high school coach would tell us, he's like, Ichiro does this, and we're like, yeah, but he's also a freak of nature. Like, nobody can do that.
Yeah.
And
the thing is,
he'd be able to spray the ball.
The thing is, he wasn't even like a freak of nature. He just understood the game. He played the game the right way. He took care of his body the right way. He just did everything right. Worked hard, put his best foot forward every single day. Off season, during the season, was a great person on the field, off the field, and just reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. Yep. And one last thing about it. So Tim Kirchin talks all the time about, is either Tim Kirchin or Buster Olney, I think it's Tim Kirchin, talks about how Ichiro is like a math whiz. And one of the things that he's really good at is angles. And that's part of the reason he was able to hit the ball all over the field, is because he knew the angle he needed to have the bat at and where he needed to make contact with the ball to put the ball in certain places of on the field. And that's not something most people do. You've got to be a genius to be able to do that, and clearly he is. But that's one unique aspect of his game that I don't think will ever be duplicated, honestly.
No, it won't. I mean, he's the all-time hits leader in the MLB for a reason.
Yep, exactly. In professional baseball, Pete Rose has entered the chat, Jewell. So
okay,
anyway,
that's true. Anyways, into the August recap. So we started off August, taking 2 of 3 from at New York.
Big win.
Big win there. Followed it up by a series split with the Angels. Followed that up with taking another series from New York.
Which, by the way, that's the first time that the Mariners have won the season series against the Yankees since what was it, like 2002? 2004?
It was 2002 or 4, right. One of the two. And then they dropped a series to Texas, which is okay. And
that's fine. Law of averages.
Exactly. And then they bounced back, swept the Angels. Dropped a series to Oakland.
Again, law of averages.
Dropped, split a series with Washington. It was a 2-game set.
That shouldn't have happened.
And then no, it shouldn't have. No, that was bad. No, that was bad. That was really bad. And then obviously took 3 or 4 from Cleveland this last weekend, with still a series coming up against. Let me see here.
At Detroit,
and then at Cleveland. Following that to end and start September.
So and currently, as of like going into Monday, the Mariners had a 1-game lead on the Toronto Blue Jays in the wild card. Mariners are sitting in second place at a 1-game lead on the
which they are
Blue
collapsing.
Jays. Well, they did beat the Cubs today in extra innings, but it's the Cubs, so
in extra innings though.
And it only kind of counts. The Rays are the first team in the wild card. They have a half a game on the Mariners. So
the Rays are going to be there. I can't see the Rays not making it.
The Rays, I thought the Rays were going to collapse, but they made some good moves at the trade deadline to replenish the pieces they were missing. So I think the Rays will be there.
And they're well
the
managed.
Blue Jays very well could collapse, and we could see the Orioles, because the Orioles are only 2.5, 3 back now.
I would love to see the Orioles over the White Sox.
Yeah, I don't think the White Sox are going to do it. They got way too many issues. Way too many issues in the clubhouse. And one of them is Tony La Russa. But
that is
the Mariners issue. Going into the Detroit series, the Mariners are 15-10 in the month of August. That's third best record as of right now for a month, because June was 16-13, July was red hot, 18-7.
Mm-hmm. And they're 12 games over 500.
Yes, that's
highest
the bigger
mark
number
on the season.
That's a big deal. It's a really big deal, the Mariners being 12 games over 500. I love it. It's outstanding. So, one of the reasons, though, that the Mariners are 12 games over 500, despite his struggles, is Julio Rodriguez. I feel like there's a level of vibrance and positivity that has been brought into the clubhouse with Julio Rodriguez, because the dude is just smiling all the time. Even when he's getting terrible strike 3 calls on him and going
doesn't care. He has it all figured out between the ears.
That's the important part.
Which is why, and if you missed it, you probably live under a rock. He got a very confusing for the average fan, but a massive extension. The Mariners locked him up, as they should have. This has been something in the works since he accepted the invitation to the Home Run Derby.
Oh, really? I didn't know it was going. And see, this is the thing that's so funny, is I absolutely did not see this coming, not even a little bit, because the day that happened, so I was going crabbing with my dad out by Tillamook
Bay. Were, and I was messaging you all morning, and I was like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Brad, what are you doing? Brad, did you see this? Brad,
busy,
Brad,
pulling crab pots. I'm busy.
I know, and that was some beautiful crab you had.
Jewell, I told him, as we were putting the boat in the water, I said, I don't think Julio gets extended for another couple years. If I'm him, I don't, because I don't take anything worth less than $500 million, because that's the market. And then you texted me, it might have been 45 minutes later, and said, Julio.
Yeah. What time did you start crabbing?
We were on the water 8:30.
Okay, because I messaged you right around 9:00.
Yeah. I knew it was about when it was.
Yep. And so for the average fan, for the base of the deal, $120 million, which includes a $15 million signing bonus. So it's actually a $105 million contract over the next 8 years, which includes this year, runs through 2029.
Okay.
Hence the $15 million signing bonus to help it average out to $15 million a year.
Okay.
Very team friendly.
That's very team friendly, and that's excellent, because we'll get into this in a little bit. There are guys on the free agent market who the Mariners are going to need to go after. Go ahead.
Yes. And so come year 7. Now this is going to be really interesting. Come year 7, there's 3 routes this can go technically, but the most likely one is that the Mariners can pick up an option for 8 to 10 years, worth $200 to $350 million, depending on how many times Julio finishes or wins the MVP award. Solely based on that alone, it increases by like $25 million per top 3 finish, and then increases an additional $25 million per winning the award over this next 8 years. So it grows this guarantee to $320 million if they pick up their option. Or If the Mariners don't pick up their option in 2028, so year 7, then Julio can exercise a player option for 5 years and $90 million. And then that brings the floor of the deal to 13 years, $210 million. Or
there's always an or.
The unlikeliest scenario, and the one that we don't want, because that would mean either he did really well and the clubhouse has gone to crap and he just doesn't want to be around, and the Mariners did the right thing. They let him walk. They got the World Series and they're letting him go. Whatever. Is he turned down the deal? He hits free agency right before his age 30 season.
Oh, man, that'd be brutal.
That would be 2020. That would be after the 2029 season. So the 2030 off season.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at. So the likeliest thing is that Julio's a Mariner through 2037.
That's crazy. That's so long. And I love every bit of it because he's
for a base of $320 million over the next 18 years. So if you're seeing the 18-year number, that's where that comes in. It's the Mariners option.
Well, and it is worth up to 450, 470 for 70 million.
And that's with the MVP finishes.
Yeah.
So he has to either finish or win the MVP basically every year for the next decade to get the max amount of that deal.
Yeah, heavily incentive laden, which I think is great, because so often you see guys with really big contracts, and I don't know if it's because of when they get the contract or the fact that they have the contract, they fall off, right?
And there's a full no trade clause, which really tells you that both sides wanted to get this done, and that both sides want to stay here in Seattle and build around what they got going on now.
Well, and it's not only that though, but because a no trade clause is also there to protect the player from getting put into a situation like Eric Hosmer would have gone into. He didn't want to go to the Nats. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go to the Nats at his point in his career either. So, it's also protecting the player from that kind of situation, getting traded into a bad situation, which I understand. If I was a player, I'd want a no trade clause. Absolutely too. Yeah. Because I've also heard a story about David Sampson told a story about how he traded one of his players to Toronto, where they happened to have a no pit bull city ordinance, and he had pit bulls. They had to get rid of them when they moved. And for me, if I had a pit bull and I was going to get traded to Toronto, I'm like, no, I'm not waiving my clause for that because I'm not getting rid of my dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot that goes into a no trade clause. Part of it is the guy wants to stay there, but they don't want to get put into a bad situation.
Exactly.
But anyway.
But overall, it's great for both sides. It's great for the Mariners. And like you were saying, there's one incentive in this deal. It's not a bunch of different incentives. It's one incentive. Be the best player in the American League year over year, or be a top 3 player year over year, and you will get $25 million more dollars.
Yeah, I think it's a great incentive. I think it's awesome. We don't care if you win Gold Gloves. We don't care if you win Silver Sluggers. Be the best player.
Also, as part of this deal, Julio's basically locked up the AL Rookie of the Year. He's more than the odds-on favorite at this point.
Well, which means I think you're getting negative money at this point with Julio.
You are. I think it's last time I checked, it was negative 160 or something.
Okay, I checked a few weeks ago, and it was minus 230. I think some of the money has moved probably towards Adley Rutschman at this point. So that's helped with that, but at the same time.
Yeah, he's the only player in any of the, other than Aaron Judge, out of all the major awards, that would be a negative payout at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and Judge is definitely a negative pay at the MVP. So anyway, you had a serious question for me, Jewell?
Yes. Well, before we get into that,
we want to talk free agency.
Yes. Right? So with some of the numbers now with Julio, it puts this year's payroll at $146 million. Puts next year's payroll at $95 million.
That's because there are certain guys who are not locked up yet.
Correct. Ty France, both Castillos, Luis and Diego Castillo, both enter arbitration. Paul Sewald, Eric Swanson, Demo, all enter arbitration. Carlos Santana, Mitch Haniger, Adam Frazier are all free agents. 2024, you're looking at an $85 million payroll. Wink's a free agent. However, he'll be 31.
Haniger's a free agent.
We're 2024.
Oh,
post
next year.
Post 2024. The payroll is $85 million. Luis Castillo would be a free agent. Haggerty enters his arbitration. 2025, you're looking at a $36 million in guaranteed payroll. This includes the Julio deal. 2026, you're looking at a $27 million guaranteed in payroll.
Pretty good.
And then come the 2027 season, it's technically it's just Julio's money, $15 million, because JP's a free agent and he's the only other guaranteed contract at that point.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of payroll flexibility, $50 million next year, if not upwards of $80, $90 million in payroll, because they could, hit that 180, 190 mark.
Right. Well,
if they wanted to.
One of the things a lot of people worry about is they see the big dollar amount, and they're like, oh my gosh, now we've got all this money tied up in Julio. We're not going to be able to pay anybody else. Like, no, there is plenty of money left under
tons of money
under the competitive balance tax threshold to pay other guys. Like, the Mariners will be able to attract a big name free agent this offseason.
And that only goes up. Over the next few years, thanks to the CBA. It actually helps teams be able to afford the inflated contracts.
Right, it does. And this is the other thing too, is like now they actually like legitimately have money to pay Mitch Haniger this offseason.
Yes, which honestly, that's for me, that's one of my next two moves that the Mariners need to make. I was kind of looking at Spot Rack, or however you say it. Okay. I honestly think a deal for him lands him somewhere between Mark Canha and Starling Marte, which is $12.6 million and $15.7 million a year annually.
Yeah, I could see that. Is Starling Marte the higher end of that?
He is.
Because I feel like he's got more of a veterans deal there. Like, he got a little bit more money for having some more, just for having more service time.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, I love me some Starling Marte, big time. And also the fact that he plays for the Mets, like, that helps that he got just like some more money there.
Yeah, he got way overpaid. Well, Canha got overpaid too.
Yeah, all those guys got overpaid.
We both got to watch Canha for a very long time, so we know he's
a problem.
He's a problem. He can be worth that $12.6 million a year.
Yeah, he can be. No, I could see Haniger getting like 14.
Yeah, I don't think he's more than that.
14.
And then that
probably
leaves
like 5 years.
5 years. I'm thinking 3 with an option. Because he's 31.
Option?
Either a team or probably a mutual, honestly.
Okay.
Because
I could see that.
I can see that. And then the other deal has to be Luis Castillo.
Oh, you gotta lock him up.
He's 29. He's 29.
Uh-huh.
So he's going into his pitching prime years.
Yeah.
A 5-year, $100 million, another Robbie Ray deal doesn't hurt us at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about the Ray deal. That's pretty team friendly, especially for what you're getting out of him. The dude's like top 5 in strikeouts this year, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
He's had it's like a lot of the problem with the pitching staff this year when we're like, oh my gosh, he's struggling. It's like, no, the dude's given up 2 runs. It's just that he doesn't get run support. It's the same old song and dance that the Mariners have, is that for some reason they just go through these spells where they're ice cold. Fortunately, the bullpen is good enough that they can still win games 4-3. They can hold
it over. But we do have a lot of arbitration coming up in that bullpen. Diego Castillo, Paul Sewald, Eric Swanson.
Those guys are the cornerstones. But you've also got Andres Munoz and Penn Murphy who are locking things down.
And Andres Munoz is locked up for the next however many years under a very, very, very cheap deal. And then Kirby, Murphy, Brash, Festa don't even enter arbitration until 2026.
Nice. I like that.
So
that's
a lot of positives there, a lot of money to be able to put toward Haniger and Castillo this offseason. But that leaves a very big hole. Leaves a hole at second base.
And that's been the problem. That's been the concern for a year now.
Yeah, so that's my serious question is what's next at second base? Is it now these are the free agents and their ages who are second basemen according to Spot Track.
Okay.
Frazier, who's the youngest of this group, who's going to be 30.
Okay.
Mean Gene the hitting machine, is going to be 33. However, he does carry one of the best on-base percentages in the MLB year after year.
Yeah.
Or a 32-year-old Colton Wong. Of those three who are pure second basemen, who would you take? You're probably looking at least a 2-year, $10 to $15 million commitment.
I would take Gene Segura. I liked him when he was in Seattle. He hit really well in Seattle. All that dude does is get on base.
Exactly. I would love to have a reunion there. Or do we turn to a 29-year-old Trey Turner for $30+ million a year? Or I doubt he's even going to hit the market because I don't think the Braves are going to do it again. But 28-year-old Dansby Swanson, who's projected to cost about 22 to 30. Or a guy who's likely to deny his club option, Tim Anderson, for probably half of what Trey Turner would cost.
So here's the thing. You're not getting Tim Anderson to move.
Yeah.
You're not getting Tim Anderson to move positions. You would have to move J.P. Crawford to second base. And I don't know if you want to do that. With the way he's looked the last little while, he's been hurt, then yeah. But I don't think J.P. Crawford's going to be happy about moving to second base. Either is Tim Anderson.
Yeah. Trey Turner did it already.
Exactly. That's what I say. Trey Turner will move to second base. And he might be – dude, there are a few guys I like in baseball more than I like Trey Turner.
Yeah. I mean, he got hit in the head and then stole the base yesterday.
I'll take Trey Turner over a lot of guys in the league in the middle infield. And it's just the way it is because he's electric. And aside from being fun to watch, he's really good. He's the best guy at the position. You've got to at least make a run at him. You've got to be willing to pay the money for guys like that.
You have to.
And
the payroll's there. The payroll says you can do this. You can add basically $100 million this next offseason.
That's what I was going to say, because the money's there. You've got to spend it. And
essentially, let's say you add 30 and 35 in Trey, 20 in Castillo, 15 in Haniger. That's 70. And then your arbitration and all those guys probably put you about 80, 90. You're probably looking at a $180, $190 million payroll. However, you have arguably a team that can compete with Houston at this point.
Yeah. And that's what you need. You need to be able to compete in the division if you're going to be able to compete for a World Series. And Brig and I have talked about this on the Big Show, honestly, that the only team the Mariners cannot – the only team that feels like the Mariners can't compete with in the American League right now is the Astros. But I don't feel like anybody can compete
No one can compete with the Astros. No, especially when
they have their
Verlanders.
Warts. They have their warts, but they do a great job covering them up.
But you're not – and if in a game of 7 or even a game of 5,
no chance.
If it gets to a game 4, I mean, you're seeing Verlander twice.
Yeah.
No chance. Yeah. There's no chance when he's going to win a Cy Young this year.
Yeah.
At 37.
Yeah. Or 39, dude. He's 39.
I thought, oh man, my bad.
That's
or
even
there's
worse.
Or there's the other option at second base. Haggerty, Demo, and Toro duke it out next year in spring training.
See, I like Haggerty in the outfield better. I know he's primarily an infielder, but I really like him in the outfield because of his speed.
I love him as a fourth outfielder.
I love him as a fourth outfielder. And you can't get a better late inning pinch runner than Sam Haggerty.
No.
Sorry, I said that wrong. That's Ham Swaggerty.
Exactly. Thank you. So there's those options, or there's one more or here.
Okay.
Or there's a group of prospects that we have who are all pretty close. There's Caden Palkovich, 3rd-round pick in 2020, who got a good run in summer camp 2020 COVID season. He currently has a 719 OPS. Or you have a 4th-round pick in.
Where is he?
He's in AA. These guys are all in. The guys I'm going to mention are AA or AAA.
Okay.
You have Jack Shiner, who has a 777 OPS at AA this season with 16 home runs and 84 RBIs. He can also play 2nd, 3rd, and 1st. Or there's Joe Rizzo, who can play 3rd, 1st, and 2nd as well, who has 18 home runs and a 785 OPS at AA. Or you have Mason McCoy, who's down in the cooler at AAA, a 2017 6th-round pick who has a 759 OPS at AAA. So there's honestly, 6 internal options, and I feel that's probably where Jerry DiPoto's probably going to go.
He might. This is my thing, is that I feel like this Mariners team needs a veteran at that position. Because they've relied solely, like, so heavily on homegrown talent for first base. Ty France, second or shortstop, basically homegrown. Like, Ty France and JP Crawford are basically homegrown talent because they came up through the system.
Yeah, they got traded into the system.
Ty France got promoted pretty quickly because there was a need, but he was basically
he was buried in that San Diego system.
Yeah. So Ty France is young. JP Crawford's young. Obviously, Julio Rodriguez is young. Mitch Haniger is getting to be the veteran. He's getting to be the leader. But then you've got Cal Raleigh behind the plate, who is extremely young. And then you've got Gino, who's experienced. You've got Winker, who's experienced. You need one more spot where a guy is experienced, especially in that infield. I feel like getting a veteran at second base would be a big step up from bringing in a rookie on a team that's trying to compete for a World Series, like legitimately trying to compete for a World Series.
Yeah, and you have all those guys through at least 2024. You have Gino through 25, you have Gino and Winker through 2024. So you have a 2-year window, assuming you re-sign Mitch Haniger, assuming you still have Luis Castillo, which you do through 2024. Or through 2024.
Right.
You still have your whole young core. Yeah. You have Logan, Kirby, Cal, Brash, Murphy, Festa, JP, Haggerty, Demo. You have all your arbitration guys. You basically have the same team that you have right now, minus a second baseman. I agree.
And I think you fill that hole with a veteran.
You have to. You have to fill it with someone, unless someone really pops off in spring training next year, who you didn't expect. And it has to be a complete and utter domination of spring training, like a 400.
It's got to be a Julio Rodriguez style spring training.
You have to have a Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, if any of those guys want it, like, they have to. Haggerty, Demo, Toro, Palkovich, Shino, Rizzo, McCoy. Any of those guys want it, they have to take it next year with a huge spring training.
Definitely.
Assuming no one signed, assuming the Dodgers extend a qualifying offer to Trey Turner. I mean, that's hard because the Mariners are going to get another draft pick.
Yeah. It would be dumb of them not to bring back Trey Turner, but I've seen stranger moves work.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman is Exhibit A. But anyway, Jewell, who's your pick? Like, who would you like to see playing second base for the Mariners next year?
I would love for it to be internal. That's just me, because I love an internal guy. I love minor league baseball. I would love if I'm thinking veteran, I want Gene Segura, especially because the Phillies are primed to make a playoff run this year in the NL.
I think if they don't make a run, they might start selling pieces off.
Yeah, well, he's a free agent either way. So I think they're a wild card team in the NL as of now.
Right. Yeah, well, good. Yeah, because they're in the NL East and nobody's catching the Mets, and they're not gonna catch the Braves.
No.
But I think what I mean by selling pieces off is that I don't think that they prioritize bringing back Segura.
Oh, no, they're not going to bring back Segura. Segura's a free agent. I would love to bring in Segura. I would love that reunion. I would love that OBP. I would love to be able to move. I would love Julio to get out of the leadoff spot and into the three hole.
It's so funny. It's such a weird spot for him, but it works for him. But it is a really weird spot for him.
And I hate it, but I love it. But I would love for it to be like Gene Segura, Ty France, Julio, Haniger, and anyone else next year. Gino, Winker. It would work. Yeah. Cal should be in a 6 hole next year. Like, he needs to be in the middle of the order bat. I don't know why he's still the bottom of the order bat.
I don't know either. I can't figure that out. It's strange, and I wonder if it's just because I wonder if Scott Service just wants to have the catching position at the bottom of the order because he doesn't like Casali in the middle of the order, and so that way he can just plug and play. That everybody else can be consistent because he's finally had he's finally having a consistent batting order. Yeah. And so I think that he's got Cal Raleigh at the bottom there so that he can just plug it and play it with Casali, and he's not hurting the middle of the order. That's why he's batting 7. I think
he's also moved Ty France around a little bit lately. He's moved Ty France down to 5 and 6.
You go 0 for 20, you're gonna get moved around.
Yeah. But then he showed back up on Sunday, so
he did. Yeah, I'm hoping that busts him out of that slump and he gets things going again. But
that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I would love Gene Segura. I would love for I want Toro gone this offseason. I want Toro and Evan White gone. Out of just the question.
I think the guys who get moved this offseason, I really think that we don't see Jared Kelenic the rest of the season. We don't see Evan White, and we don't see Abraham Toro, and all three of those guys move. And the reason we don't see them is because
we don't see Kalu either the rest of the season.
We're not going to see Kalu the rest of the season. That's injury related. But I think the reason we don't see those other three guys is because Jerry DiPoto is going to want to hold on to as many options as possible for them, so that's an incentive for these other teams to pick them up. That if they
manipulate the service time a little bit,
it's not so much manipulate the service time as it is just have the options available, so you don't have to DFA those guys, right? So you have so you legitimately have the option to send them down to AAA, so you have a little bit more control over what you're doing with your roster with those guys.
Well, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt
we see them.
Their options are already used for this year because it's one option per year that they're sent down to the minors, and they can move back and forth however many times that year on that option. So
yeah, you're right.
But Toro's out of options.
Yeah, exactly.
So he can't be option next year.
That's true. That's right.
Evan White still has options. I think Kelenic has one more. I think Kalu has one more. And some of these guys have one more. So,
yeah, but no, I don't think we see those guys this year. I think Taylor Trammell is the guy we see if he's healthy. I think that's the position player we get to see.
I think it's Trammell and I think it's Boyd for the September call-ups here in a couple days.
Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be Boyd. It has to be Trammell. And I think if Evan White keeps playing the way he's playing, I think he could force his way up and Jake Lamb get DFA'd.
Oh, geez, he did hit a homer the other night, though.
He did, but Demo's playing. Demo's looking healthy. Haggerty's healthy. You have those guys who can play around the infield.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you have Santana who can back up first, but Evan White.
Let's go back to Demo for just a second. Let's go back to Demo real quick. I think what you said is really important. He's finally looking healthy again. Yeah. I think the reason he's played so terribly recently is because he's had those back issues. He had that forearm issue a little bit ago, and I think he had some lower body issue.
Yeah,
he finally looks like he's healthy again. And he finally looks healthy again, and he's playing well.
Yeah. So or maybe it's not even
a big deal.
Might not even be well. VR would need a 40-man roster move, so to be added. So
yeah,
but those are my picks. For the call-ups, nice. I think Boyd, Trammell.
I think you're right. I think those guys make the most sense. Okay, I'm really curious what this genuine question is that you have, Jewell.
Well, that was my question. Who's second base?
Oh, that was your question?
Yeah, that was my question. That was my question.
I wanted to talk about that anyway, so I didn't know that was your genuine question.
Yeah, that was my important question is who's at second base next year?
Okay. Very pressing issue. Okay, let's move. Let's give our predictions for the rest of the season. Jewell, how do you think that the Mariners fare in September?
Okay, so we have 3 against Detroit, 3 against Cleveland, 3 against Chicago, 3 against Atlanta, 2 against San Diego, 4 against the Angels, 6 against Oakland. We have 7 total games against Detroit. My bad. 3 against Kansas City, 3 against Texas over these last 34 games. The only series I think we lose out of this whole next 34 games is to Atlanta. As much as I love the Mariners, the Braves are a measuring stick series. They're at home for that, which is nice. But
which is nice.
I just don't think we can take 2 of 3 from Atlanta. They're too good. Unless Kenley Jansen walks home game-winning run again for them, which he could. And then I think we split against San Diego. But we also have a 3, 6, 10 game road trip back to back from the 16th to the 25th.
It's a long
against
road trip.
LA, Oakland, and then from Oakland to Kansas City.
So weird. I don't know who puts this schedule together, but that's so weird. Let's send them from Oakland to Kansas City. They must be in New York.
They have
That's the
to
only
be.
thing I can think of.
It's going to be even worse next year playing all 30 teams. Like the Mariners' travel schedule is just brutal, dude.
It is brutal because they're so far away, but I do feel like it's going to help even out the travel schedule
a little bit
with the balanced schedule because everybody's going to be traveling a whole bunch.
Everyone, that's true.
I think it'll help.
Expect flight delay games next year. Watch, there's going to be at least one series that's going to have a flight delay game.
Probably, yeah.
Or delayed start. But I think they go 22-12 to finish the season.
22-12.
22-12, 92-70 to end the season, and in a wild card against Tampa Bay.
Okay, so I think the Mariners are going to win that series against Atlanta. It's at home. I think they'll beat them.
Atlanta's just so good.
The series
Michael
I
Harris,
see them losing.
Acuna.
They're really good. I'll give them
so
that.
Good.
But the Mariners have outstanding pitching. So that's one thing you have to remember is that
this
is not our same old Mariners team. This is a really good team.
That's
I
true.
dropped my microphone, knocked it over.
I see that. Yeah, I have a feeling I know where you're going. I have a feeling you're thinking there's some trap series in here.
Cleveland.
At Cleveland.
That's tough.
That's real tough.
I think they'll lose that series 2-1. For some reason, the Angels play the Mariners really well. Not so much at home, not so much in Anaheim, but I could see a split, maybe a 3-1 there. They'll be fine at Oakland, be fine at Kansas City, be fine against the Rangers at home. I could see them
Oakland
splitting.
At home.
I think the last series of the season against Detroit, those 4 games in 3 days, they split.
Yeah, they probably split the doubleheader.
Yeah, but I think that you're spot on with that record, though.
So I'm thinking 92-70, 22-12 finish, and
yeah.
I don't think we're getting the number 1 seed, but I honestly don't want to play Cleveland or no. Either way, we're playing Tampa Bay. If we're 1 or 2, we're playing 1 and 2 play each other, and then 6 and 3 play each other. So as long as we're not 6, I don't really want to play Cleveland.
This is my question for you though. Like, do you know how it works as far as like who you play in the next round in the division series? Because that's the one that really concerns me.
So it would be the lower seeds are gonna the higher seed gets the lowest seed. So the 1 seed's gonna get Houston right now, who is the 1, they would get either Cleveland, or the 6 seed. And then the Yankees are going to get the 4 and 5. 4 or 5.
Yeah. So I feel like you want to be 4 or 5.
Yes, we want 4 or 5.
You definitely don't want to be sitting at the bottom.
No, and we want Tampa. We can handle Tampa.
Yeah,
and then matchup. I love that matchup. It's going to be tight. I mean, it's going to be a 3-game series.
Yeah, I think it'll be good though. And that's the one that I said, match up against everybody except for Houston. So you just got to try to avoid Houston as long as possible. Let somebody else knock them out in the division series if possible.
I mean, you have to hope. I mean, Cleveland could do it with their pitching.
Yeah. Well, it seems like everybody is beating the Astros.
Yeah,
legitimately everybody but Seattle.
Oakland beat them.
But Seattle.
Didn't Oakland beat them again? No, Oakland walked off New York.
Oakland did. I mean, Oakland swept them right before they won that series against Seattle. So there's that. But also, like,
Oakland
teams are beating Houston though,
except for the Mariners.
Of late, except for the Mariners. Like today, I guess it wasn't today. It was Sunday. Let me pull it up real quick. The Astros lost to where'd it go? Why can't I find it? I don't know. But they lost to somebody the other day they shouldn't have. Oh, they lost to the Orioles over the weekend. And I know the Orioles were playing good ball, but against Houston?
Yeah.
I was shocked. It's 3-1. I was shocked by that, to be honest with you, on Saturday. So It seems like everybody in the American League can beat Houston except for Seattle. That's the problem that the Mariners have right now.
Yeah, everyone can beat them, except for us.
And so if we let somebody else beat them, they'll be fine.
Because I would love those two matchups are exactly what we want. We want Tampa, and we can beat New York.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up, Jewell. Don't forget to hop on hippity hop over to 9plusus.com. Spell it out NINEPLUS.com. Use code CPOD SEAPOD at checkout to save some money on the Seattle collection. We have a link down in the description of every episode to make it easy for you to get over there. We have the Not Sexy t-shirt, and get yourself also. Thanks, Jewell. Don't forget to head over to schmuckseedery.com and use code BTPOD at checkout to save 10% off of sunflower seeds. They really are the best seeds ever. That was Jewell held up for those of you watching on the YouTube machine. That was Smokehouse Barbecue. That is one of my favorite.
So good. And if you're on TikTok, you can see Brad and Brig hit up their seed of the day, and they are awesome. And I'm waiting for an honorary seed of the day video, by the way.
Send us one and you'll get it.
Thank goodness. And then, folks, you can always find me at theballboyblog.com, ballboyblog.com. Either one, you type into the URL bar thingy at the top of the internet page. Find me there, as always. And then to end it with a fun fact for you guys, Eugenio Suarez is only 7 strikeouts away from breaking the single-season strikeout record, which is held by, can you guess, Brad?
I'm going to guess Nelson Cruz.
Nope.
Okay, who?
2002 Mike Cameron.
Oh, nice.
Also, JP Crawford is not fast. Second fun fact, he has a less than 60% stolen base success rate in his entire career.
He's stolen a few bases this year, though.
But he has less than a 60% stolen base success rate, so he should probably not do that.
Probably should not be doing that. You're right. Fantastic. Love it. Thank you for that, Jewell. Last thing real quick, if you want to send us an email or a message or anything, jump in the mailbag at baseballtogether.com. You can just send it either straight away, like just put in the message, whatever, on Baseball Together, or you can select Seattle Baseball Together podcast in the drop down. Either way, it comes to me. So I'm going to see it, and we will respond to your questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, whatever you would like to send our way. We welcome them all. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us for the Seattle Baseball Together podcast this month, and we will catch you at the end of the season.
Julio!